Oh, and one more thing that comes to mind at that Fresno party. Tell them about the pool.
Okay,
that was
so
pretty funny.
this grandma and grandpa, they throw parties once or twice a month, and he had a radio show for swingers, and so they throw this pretty good party that we had talked about, and they had a pole right in the middle of the family room, and she tells this story where the grandkids are going, Grandma, why do you have a pole on your living? She goes, it's for exercise, and the parents know that they're swingers, so they're like laughing behind the scenes, but they were a great couple. And
Super
we just
cool.
thought it was funny. Oh, so there's this guy. Okay, we were pretty new at this, and so there was this guy who. Why don't you go tell about
Fresno guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in Fresno. We used to live there.
California.
Yeah, California. I think it's the only Fresno there might be. Anyway, so we always joke, if you see someone, watch out who is Fresno. And that is signed for someone whose shirt is unbuttoned all the way down to 2 buttons left. That's right.
In the 1960s, when you saw somebody who was supposed to be hip, they'd like unbutton this collared shirt down to here, and they'd have gold necklaces on with little things on them and stuff. And so that's what he looked like. His wife was totally embarrassed by him, but he was just bounded. I know they were kind of arguing, and I was talking to her, and it's like he didn't understand the kind of be cool, be nice, be talkative, be sweet to people. He was just sort of like, I'm going to get laid, and that kind of an idea.
Yeah.
And it showed in his outfit, and he had those like slacks.
Shoes?
I don't know what you call those slacks. He had platform shoes. It was like he was straight out of the 1960s, and so that was kind of funny.
But he wasn't friendly though. He just had his shirt buttoned down to basically his belly button.
And he just acted scared as hell. It was kind of really funny.
Not the best way to approach people at a swinger party if you see someone like that, or even if that's you. Make sure you
kind of dress business casual, have your makeup on, your perfume on, smell good, have all your hair shaved the way you want it shaved, and just make sure that you look appropriate. Business casual is probably the best way to say it, unless they tell you to dress out. Now, here's another warning: is that couple warned us that their neighbors knew they were swingers, but they didn't want their grandkids and kids seeing people in negligees running into their house, and so they warned you, make sure you're completely covered, and that was pretty good advice.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, thank you. This next one's funny. I like this one.
So, take this as a lesson learned. If you are not getting directions and where you're going to be meeting somebody, and they're giving you a bunch of vague, long directions that don't make sense, and you're having to second guess to figure out where you're meeting up, it's probably a bad sign. We call this one the monkey. It was a lot. We finally found this house, and we get there, and the couple. This is again another one of the early experiences where we hadn't talked about exactly what we wanted, and we get there, and the wife says, oh yeah, my husband just went to the store to get diapers. And I'm thinking, really? It took us like 2 hours to find your house by the time we drove there. He's at the store? And so we just kind of stayed there, and then finally he showed up about 30 minutes later. I remember thinking, this is crazy. And he had hair all over his face, puffy hair. And, I don't mind beards, but it was like a goofy look. and he was like hiding in the other room. And so we just looked at each other, my husband and I, and we just decided, we didn't decide, we knew this is not for us. And so we thanked them very much for having us over. And the other thing was, they didn't put their kid to bed. So that was pretty awkward.
Kids, there were many of them.
Yeah, I think there were. And so it's been a while. So anyway, we left, and they texted us afterwards and said, they didn't confront us when we left. They said, okay, bye. And then they texted us and said, why did you guys leave? Nobody ever stays. So, lesson learned.
So for me, I'm pretty observant, and I show up at the door, and there's a bunch of kids running around. They're folding laundry in their living room. And then the dog comes up, is very sweet, and she was, the dog normally bites people. So I'm thinking, great, you have this dog meet me at the door, and the dog likes me. So I'm standing there, and I'm looking at this whole scene. There's nothing romantic about the whole scene. They didn't dress up. We were dressed up. We looked good. We had our makeup. She had her makeup on, and then he gave a picture. He's a really good-looking guy, but in real life, he had this like thing. He looked just like a monkey.
Monkey beard.
Yeah, so monkey beard. So it was this like huge thing that was kind of roundish, and then she lied about where he was. He comes in, Yeah, and it's just like we make an excuse to leave, and he goes, "I can't believe that everybody leaves." It's like, yeah, because it was like absolutely nothing was. I don't mean romantic, but sensual. Everything was like, I mean, there's no candles out. They were backing down liquor. It's like they're trying to get drunk first. Their kids are running around
It's
screaming and
crazy.
yelling. So anyway, it was we call it the monkey experience. It was kind of funny.